In today's video, we'll return to whether a good faith exam is required of a telemedicine practice or telehealth startup. And we'll look at the requirement that the clinical practice establish a valid patient relationship. Hi, I'm Michael H. Cohen. I'm founding attorney at Cohen Healthcare Law Group. We help healthcare industry clients just like you navigate the healthcare legal and regulatory terrain so you can launch, grow, or scale your healthcare business or venture. How does a telehealth practice or app establish a valid physician-patient relationship? How does it establish? This sounds like that old joke, what do you get when you cross a hippopotamus with a rhino? The hell if I know. Actually, we do know, okay? Got to inject a little humor. Because we spend a lot of time researching the telehealth laws and regulations of various states so we can advise our telemedicine clients, and everyone's doing telemedicine. It's no longer novel, but it's subject to an awesome patchwork of arcane rules across states. So the simplest and easiest way to establish a physician-patient relationship is for the physician to see the patient in person. That's it. It isn't always practical, though. Let's say you're a physician with licenses in California, Montana. I just chose those at random. You don't want to fly to Montana simply because you got a new patient there. Or let's say you're a telehealth platform and your physicians, psychologists, or other clinicians work entirely remotely. So you can't really see them in person. But fortunately, the more modern state telehealth statutes give you some options. Let's look at Delaware as an example. Title 24, Section 1782D defines licensed mental health professional as a licensed psychiatrist, psychologist, or licensed professional counselor of mental health. It's unusual that they lump the MD psychiatrist with the other mental health care professionals, but it's just for this part of the law, part of the definition. So in a roundabout definition, the statute then says the practice of psychology may be provided through the use of telemedicine in a manner deemed appropriate by regulation. Okay. Services may also include participation in telehealth as further defined in regulation. Okay. Let's read on. Telemedicine means ... I won't read that one. By now, it's pretty obvious that you have telehealth at a distance. It can include a lot of different services. Delaware even wraps in patient education, public health, and health administration. So it's intending to be pretty broad and permissive. Now, the part that's relevant for our question, Delaware requires that the physician-patient be established, and it says it can be done either in person or, good news, via telehealth. There are a whole bunch of requirements, including 1, identifying the patient and verifying their location. Remember that one toward the end. 2, disclosing the provider's credentials. 3, obtaining appropriate consents. 4, making a diagnosis in accordance with accepted medical standards. 5, talking risks and benefits. 6, follow-up care. 7, providing the patient with a written visit summary. So this was written a few years back. That's why it sounds more extensive than you might expect. But if you ever received an email from your doctor with a written after-visit summary, after telemedicine encounter, you'll understand this documentation is part of satisfying that part of the rule. Now, one time, me being me, I consulted a therapist on a software platform, and they asked where I was dropping in from by video chat. And glibly, I said, I'm at a Starbucks. You see, I have this persona as a careful telehealth lawyer. And then I have this persona as a regular human being, and I was a client. So my therapist reminded me, slightly acerbically, that he or she had a written obligation to validate my location, and a Starbucks just wasn't cutting it. Well, some people are stickler for complying with the rules. Well, I told her where the Starbucks was. So if you're ever under scrutiny for your telehealth business, it's good to know the rules and to be backed by legal review that focuses on risk as well as the cost to your business of complying. So establishing the physician-patient relationship in Delaware, it requires audio-visual communication, not just audio, and it's got to be real two-way live conversations. So that's the quirkiness of Delaware. Thanks for watching. Please contact us with questions. We have a lot of telemedicine experience. We've helped a lot of healthcare ventures just like you grow and scale. And we look forward to helping you on your journey to success.